In reference to whether the tax base is fair, it is, I think at this point in time, something that we should leave alone. In reference to looking for other sources from other businesses, though, we need to look a little deeper, particularly when we look in the question list here has mining. Now, we do know that the mines are taxed and expensed out through amendments to the Constitution, and they're pretty well protected. The problem is they're supposed to be paying their taxes at about 5 to 6%, and it's my understanding they're paying about 3%, whereas gaming is closer to that 5 or 6% number. We need to look at these areas very closely, because we have one article I read was one of these foreign companies that owns the mines says, hey, look at the gold we're pulling out of your ground is basically worthless because they're able to expense everything out. And so we need to look at those issues long and hard, and for areas that we can tax a little bit more and be fair about it. In reference to source of revenues, I think we need to look possibly at a little higher sales tax. I know that everyone wants to cringe at that, but that's where I think we might need to look a little closer. In terms of the funding formula, whether or not it's fair for all of the money to be divided up equally, we have more people using more services here. The streets get used more heavily. You have to consider that in the formula. And so I think Southern Nevada needs to be considered in a more, or the system needs to be more a pro rata proportionate system.
Thank you. Would you like to go on to the next one? We'll just ask you one more question,
okay.
And that is, how would you support improving education in Nevada?
Well, are we going to have questions from the floor?
Pardon?
Are we going to allow the floor to have questions?
Yes, after we do this question.
Well, one of the issues I had was the GED program. And in terms of improving education, I think, and in my walks I've talked to a couple of elementary school teachers who were very upset that monies were taken from them to give to the high schools. And to me, I look at that and say, we're trying to destroy or damage the foundation before we even go to the second or third floors. So we need to make sure that that K through 6 group is properly funded and that monies are not arbitrarily taken from that area. And I think that's one of the things that we need to look at least from the people that I've listened to as I've walked neighborhoods. So that would be one of, besides the dropout issue, I think, are 2 areas where I would look at improving education.
Thank you, Mr. Ivey.